Good morning, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Dania by Antiknight. It's important to note that's not a puzzle called Antiknight by Dania, it's Dania by Antiknight, and this is not an Antiknight puzzle. I don't know why this puzzle is called Dania. Dania, I think, is a name from Denmark or something. I'm not sure. I don't know where Antiknight is from. And Antiknight, I don't know that I've actually done an Antiknight puzzle by Antiknight, but it is important to remember that this is not an Antiknight puzzle. This is just an Arrow puzzle. Keep that in mind while solving. So what have we got going on at the moment? The Entropic Power Lines puzzle pack. I've received even more answers from this, even though I'm recording a week in advance and it's not yet over. So if you want to be in the running for getting your name read out, I am hoping to arrange a prize. I still haven't. I've got to make some calls and see what I can do. If I do, it's going to be a puzzle pack. So from someone, some paid content or something. I don't know. I'll try and find something. Submit details below. But yeah, grab the pack. The feedback on that has been extraordinary. This puzzle, Dania by Antiknight, an arrow puzzle. So what do we have? The rules for arrows are quite simple, but first, Sudoku. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. In arrows, the digits along each arrow, so along the shafts of each arrow, must sum to the digit that you place in the circle. So the sum of these three cells will be placed here. The sum of these three cells will be placed here. That's what we've got to go on. Let's give this a shot. So a lot of these are very restricted. This one is going to be insanely restricted, but I'll come back to that. So the minimum you can put onto three cells that see each other is 1, 2, 3. So this will be 6, 7, 8, 9, as will that one, as will that one. So there's 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 6, 7, 8, 9. That one isn't, because that cell and that cell could repeat. So that could be anything from 4 upwards, which is probably not worth pencil marking. And that could be anything from 3 upwards. Okay, what about this one? That's a minimum of 1, 2. That's a minimum of 1, 2, which is 6. That could be 1, that could be 1. So this is 8 or 9. So I've got 1 degree of freedom. So this is 1, 2, 3, and must contain a 1. This is 1, 2, 3, and must contain a 1. And these are 1 or 2. And I can only have 1 degree of freedom along that arrow. So once one of them goes up by 1, everything else is minimum. Now, only one of those can be 9. And once one of them isn't 9, I have to put a 1 on here. But both of them could still take 1. And for this to be 8, all of these... So if this is 9, this would be 8, and all of these would have to be minimum. I'm probably missing an important trick, but that's okay. I do that all the time. So this, for example, this arrow, I think, is going to interact with this arrow. That's probably important. So if I take these cells together, the minimum here is 3. The minimum here is 6. The minimum here is 6. And the minimum here is 3. So 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 3 plus 3 is, 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So those have to be minimum. So what I'm saying is the minimum I can put on those 3 cells is 1, 2, 3. The minimum I can put on those 2 cells is 1, 2, 3. The minimum I can put on those 2 cells is 1, 2. The minimum I can put on those 2 cells is 1, 2. If I add all of that together, I get to 18. But the maximum, the sum of all that could be is 18 if I make both of those 9. So both of those have to be 9. These now have to be minimum. So that has to be 1, 2. These have to be 1, 2, 3. So there has to be a 3 on here. This has to be 1, 2, 3, but I can't put a 1 on there Actually, so this is 2, 3. Actually, there is going to be more I can do here, surely. This is not a 9 anymore, so there is a 1 up here, but it's not in this column. So there is a 1 here. There's no 9 here anymore, so there's also a 1 in here. This is 6, 7, or 8. So if this is 1, this has a maximum of 5. Actually, this... Have I broken... No, hang on, wait a minute. If I put a 1, 3 in here, this could be 3, 2, and I'm still there. Why did I think of that as a single value? Because I'm broken. Now, for this not to have a 1 on it, this would also have to be a 9. I've only got 1 degree of freedom. I'm going to recolor this one to be, say, the green. I've only got 1 degree of freedom on yellow. Do I have to include this arrow? Because this arrow now has a minimum of 3, 4. So this is 7, 8, or 9. Because I can't use a 1 or a 2 on that arrow. Hang on, I've only got 1 degree of freedom down here. Why have I got a 3 down here? Because no, if this is 1, 3, that's 4, 5. No, it's okay. Maybe there's something weird happening. Oh, hang on. No, these have to all be... As a total, these have to be minimums. Sorry, I forgot that, didn't I? There's no 3 down here because this has to be a complete minimum set for the whole thing. So I had to take 3 out of here, not for this arrow, but for this complete set. So this is a 1, 2. So now I've got 3. So one of these has to go up by 1. What are the possibilities on this arrow? So if I do 3, 4, I get to 7. If I want to get to 8, I've got to use 3, 5 because I can't use 4, 4. If I want to get to 9, I can use 3, 6 or 4, 5. So these are 3, 4, 5 and 6 only. But 4, 5 is the only option that doesn't use 6, and that requires that to be a 9. 9 has to go in here somewhere. 9 is up here somewhere because I can't put 9 on an arrow. 9... Actually, 9 is in one of those two. What did I just do? 9 is in one of those two. This can't be a 6 or a 7 Because if this was a 6, this would be 1, 2, 3, and that would have no value. And if this is a 7, this would be 1, 2, 4, and that would have no value. Now, it can be an 8 because I can make this 1, 3, 4. And that would allow that to be a 2. Here, I've got a minimum of 7 now. This is 3, the same trick as over here. But this is much more restricted than this one because 3, 4 here means this is an 8 or a 9. I've got an 8, 9 pair in the column because 3, 4, 1 is the minimum I could do here. Hang on, this is much more restricted than this. Because 3, 4, 1 gets me to 8. 3, 4, 2 gets me to 9. I have to put a 3 on here. Because if I do minimum of 4, I've got 4, 5, and that'd have to be a 0 to get to 9. 3, 5, 1. I think that's it. That's a 1, 2 in the column. That's a 1, 2, 3 along here. That takes 3 out of here now. So 3 is in one of those, 3 is not there. Now 1 must be down here. This can't be a 1. Because 1 must be on this arrow down here, because that can't be a 9, and 1 must be on this arrow down here. This is not a 1. Now, I don't need to put a 2 on this, but I do need to put a 3 up here. So there's a 3 down here, but it doesn't need to be on the arrow. There's some trickiness going on here. There's probably just a simple thing I'm missing, but as I've said in almost every video, that could be the subtitle of my channel. So I need to actually have something above maximum here, but I've still got those 2 cells that I could bump up by 1. Hang on, I took a 3 out of there, which means I can take a 6 out of there. No, I can't do that because I don't know what that is. Pay attention, Brimster, otherwise you'll solve the puzzle wrong again. Now, that could be 1, 2, 3 still, I think. This would be 1, 2, that would be 3. That would put 3 onto this arrow, which would make this an 8. And this would become 1, 3, 4. I think that's okay. Now, whatever this is, 6, 7, or 8, has to go up here. So those are the same cell. Let's make them orange. Orange has to go up here. Now, must go into one of those 2 cells, in fact. That's not a 9 because of that 9 there. So there is a 1 on this arrow. So there is a 1 down here. There is no 1 on here, but that doesn't necessarily help me. So these are 4, 5, 6, and 7. If this is 9, so that cell there is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Because in order for it to be 3 or 4, I need to use a 1, and I don't have one. These arrows actually may be doing something. Because if I make this a 1, this is forced to be a 9. So if this is 8, this becomes a 1, and then these are both forced to be a 9. This can't be 8. If I make this 8, this becomes 1, this becomes 9, this becomes 8, but I'd need to put a 1 on this arrow and I couldn't do it. These can't sum to 8. Hang on, is that right? If these sum to 8, this is a 1 to make that 9. But then this becomes 8 and I need to put a 1 on this arrow. Yeah, that is correct. So these have to sum to 7. So these are a 3-4 pair. Now that allows me to go 7, 1, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, or yeah, that now gives me the freedom. Because I could now go 7, 1, 8, 9, and I could. But these are now 5, 6, 7, 8. But these could never have been 8. Okay. So what can this be now, though? Like looking at these together. So if this is 7 plus 1, this is 8, this is 9, and this is 2, 3, 4. If this is 7 plus 2, making this 9, this is 8, and this is 1, 3, 4. Either way, there's a 3, 4 on this arrow. Is that right? 7 plus 1, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2. I need 8 without 2, which is 1, 3, 4. So there's 3, 4 on this. And that can't be 1 or 2. So that's a 3 or a 4. Now I've got a 3, 4 pair in the column. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4 now. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 across here. But feel I've got to be looking at nines. So I'm going to use grey and I'm going to ask myself where can nines go? Because nines in this box can only go here. Nines in this box can only go here. Except they can't. They can't go here at all. So nines in this box are here. Nines in this box are here. Nines in this box can only go in the top row, which means in this box nines can only go in those two cells. In this box, nines are in those two cells, and in this box, nines are in those cells. So those are the only possible positions for nines. I'm actually going to mark... Actually, no, I am going to mark because they can't go there at all, because that's a pointing pair of nines. Actually, that's a pointing pair of eights as well. So 8 can't go in those. I can't put 8 on a 3-cell arrow, and I can't put 8 on that arrow because that can't be 9. That's an 8-9 pair. Which doesn't help me. Wow, this looked easier than it's turned out to be. And I'm kind of happy about that, but also a little overwhelmed. Okay, I'm not sure that 9s are now getting me anywhere, so I'm going to get rid of that grey. Okay. Now, that gives me pointing 7s up here. Because I can't put 7 on this arrow because I don't have the 1 available. The highest I can put on this arrow is 6. And I can't put 7 on a 3-cell arrow, particularly one that has a maximum of 8. So 7s are pointing down here. So 7 is in one of those. Oh, this is insane. Did I need to include this arrow in the sum of all of this? Or possibly all of these 4 arrows together? But this is in its own box, so... Like, actually, this is a 6, 7, 8, or 9. Because these are 5 cells that see each other. So the minimum on those is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 15. So 9, well, hang on. So these have to sum to 15 or more. So in order to get to 15 or more, these now need to be 7, 8, or 9. So that's a 7, 8, 9. I can't even use a 6 because I can't use a 9 there. Sorry about the interruption, everyone, but life outside of puzzles does happen and does occasionally interrupt recording. So, where was I? I'm actually not sure. So, I think I was just looking at the 15 total in here, and I'd been able to remove some options by the fact that these had to sum to 15 or more. That arrow seems to be broken now. Yeah, I can't put 3 there. I can't put 6 there. But anyway. So I can do the same here. These have to sum to at least 15, which I should have noticed at the very beginning of the puzzle. So it's a standard arrow trick, which I completely missed for, what, nearly half an hour? These have to sum to at least 15. So I can't put a 5 here, I'd have to put a 10 there. So they can't be 5. Neither of those can be 9 now. So I can't put 6 in either of those. So I can take 6 out of those. So these have to be either 7, 8 to get to 15 or 8, 8 to get to 16. Okay. 8, 8 to get to 16, 7, 8. So these now are either 15 or 16. So they must have 1, 2, 3, 4 in them with either 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 with either 5 or 6. Well, I know the 1 is up there. There's no 1 there because of the 1, 2 pair. I should have... 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can't make both of those 7. So one of them is an 8. So any cell that sees both of those cannot be an 8. Any cell that sees both of those cannot be an 8. So none of those cells there can be an 8. Because if I put an 8 in any of those 3 cells, neither of these are an 8. They become total 14, and I have to make 5 cells, sum to 14, which is not possible. So that's not an 8. But more than that, they can't be 8 because of the reasons just explained. They can't be 8 because they're lower than 7, and you can just never put an 8 on a 3-cell arrow that sums to a single digit. That can't be 8 because I can't go 8, 1, 9 because the 1 is up here. So none of those can be 8. So that right there has to be an 8. So there is an 8 up here. But this is 6 or 7, so it must have 1, 2 on it, and I can't put 1, 2 there. This is a 1, 2 pair. So this is a minimum. Still not helping me. So what can this be? It can't be 1, 7. It can be 2, 6. It can be 3, 5. That's it. But that's all of the options that I had anyway. Well, it means there's now 1 and 4 on this arrow. And it's either 1, 2, 4 or 1, 3, 4. So this is 5, 6 or 7 on here. So this is 5, 6, 7. So this is 3 or 4. So I can't do 3, 4 here. This is not 7. This is an 8 or a 9. Because in order for this to be 7, this would have to be 3, 4, and this would be broken. Because these have to sum to 15 or more. I've now got an 8, 9 pair in the row. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 5, 6, 7. Which means 4 is in here? Yeah, 4 has been in here for ages because of that run of 4. Which means that's not 4. Actually, 3 is in there. 4 is in here. So 3, 4, 7, 3, 5, 8, 6, 9, 5, 4, 9. If this is 5, this is 4. Three, 5, 4. So what can this be? Because I don't have 1 or 2 available. So the maximum I can put on this arrow is a 6. So the 7 has to go in here, which means that's an 8. And if that's 8 with a 1 and a 4, that's 1, 3, 4. So 3 comes out of there. The only way to make 8 now is 2, 6, and that's a 5, 7 pair. So 7 is in here. How is that? 2, this is now a 2, 9 pair. So I know what these are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Without that one being 7. Now, if this is 6, this is 3, 9. And if it's 5, it's 3 or 4. So that's a 3, 4 pair, which makes sense for the 5, 6, 7 I just put in. Because that's all that's left in the box. Unfortunately, I don't know that that's orange, or I could... This is tricky stuff. I'm more likely I am just missing really obvious stuff. So 5, 7, 8, 9. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So that's 4 or 6. Hang on a minute. This sees 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. So this is 4 or 6. This sees 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. So this is 4 or 6. So that can't be 4. 4 is in here. Hang on, the 2s are now lining up in here and here. So 2 can't go in here because of that. 2 can't go in here because of that. So 2 in this column is in those two, which means that's not a 2. Now, what's that done? I really want to break open this yellow and green, but I don't think I'm there yet. Maybe I should have been paying a lot more attention to this. Now, one of those has to be 3. Now, these lining up ones took 1 out of there ages ago. Wow. Easy puzzle, he says. So this is going to be some sort of arrow-based wing or something, I imagine, which I should have been looking at a lot earlier. So I know that I've only got 1 degree of freedom on here. I probably should have been looking at that a lot earlier, shouldn't I? So, for example, if this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 1, I've lost my degree of freedom. So this is a 2, this is a 1, this is a 3. These now have to sum to 3, so this is a 1. If this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 3, so that's a 1. Now they're all 1s. So these are all now that's a 2, that's a 2. That's a 2, so that becomes a 3. So we've got 4 on that arrow. So these need to sum to 5, so that becomes 3, that becomes 2. I'm not seeing it. I mean, I suppose one of these is 3. If that's a 3, this whole thing becomes... I mean, can that be 3? So we've got 1 degree of freedom on this arrow. But one of these has to be... So if this is a 3, then this becomes 1. That gives us 4. So we end up with 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. I'm just going to put this in. I need to visualize it. And these become 1, 2 because we've got 6 and these have to come to 3. Now, this becomes 3 and that's broken. So if this is a 3, all of those become 1s, and that cell has no value. That is not a 3. This is a 1-2 pair. This is a 3. Now, has that actually done anything for me? Now, this sums to 6. This sums to 6. These have to be a 1-2 pair. So that 3 takes 3 out of there. So now I want to look at this. They need to sum to 6. I'm really struggling with this puzzle. So this is... Well, it's a morning for interruptions, so I've got to get back to it. Sorry, everyone. Okay. So I just got this 3. So I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 in this column. I've got 8 9s up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 5, 6, 7. That's not a 6. That's a 5, 7. So what have I got in here? These are 1, 3, 4. Because I've got 2, 6, 5, 7, 8, 9. So these are 1, 3, 4. So 8 is up here. 9 is in here. 9 is there. 9 is there. 9 is there. 9 is in there. 9 is there. 9 is there. Hang on a second. This... If this... If this is 8... This can't be 8. Is that right? If this is 9, 9, that's fine. But if this is 8, 8 is taken out of there and there. Now, normally you would be able to put 8 there, but this is a 2-cell arrow, and I put 8 there and there'd be 2 8s in the box. This can't be 8. So this little 2-cell arrow is to remove 8 from there. This is a 9, which makes this an 8, this a 9. So this being an 8 means this is 1... There's a 3 and a 4 on it, so it's 1, 3, 4. So there's no 2 here. This is 1, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 3, 4. Which means this is a 2. Hang on, is that my degree of freedom gone? Because now, yeah, this is a 1, because these are... This is a 3. This is a 2. That's now... That's a 1. This is a 2, this is a 1. This 2 makes this... I've now resolved all of those arrows. Finally. Sorry, this puzzle, I feel like it's just been hammering me. I mean, I feel like it's been going on for me a lot longer because I've had all of the interruptions. So I feel like I've been working on this for hours, because I have, sort of. I started it a long time ago. Life got in the way. That's not a 6 anymore. So, still lots of options for 9 on this. I could 3, 6 or 4, 5 still possible. 1, 3, 4 means this is a 2. That 2 means this is 9 and this is 2. Now, is this more restricted now? Because I can't put 2 on this arrow. I can't put 2 on this arrow. Where does 2 go? 2 in this box goes right here because I've got all of these 2's looking in. There, and there makes that a 2. So this can't be a 6 or a 7. This is an 8. This is an 8. So this is now an 8 without a 2 on it. So this is not the 3 because this now has to be 1, 3, 4 without that being a 1. That also... So 1 is down here. Is there something else that I can remove from there? I'm not sure. There's 3, 4 pair. Oh, that 3 is looking over, making that the 4, that the 3, that the 4. This becomes a 1, 3 pair. The 4 here puts 4 in one of those. This 1 is looking up. I've now just got to do Sudoku. This 1 is looking up. That's much more powerful. 3, 4, 1. That 4 is looking down, putting a 4 there. There is no 4 there. This is 5, 6, 7. This 4 is looking up, putting 4 onto that arrow. Now, 4 with 3 is 7. 4 with 5 is 9. There is no 8 there anymore, which I could have got from that 8. Now, the 8 must go down here now because of Sudoku. This 2 is looking up, making that the 1 and that the 2. This is now a 3 because there's a 4 in the column, so this is a 6. So this is a 5. 5 and 4 make 9, so this is the 7. This is now a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. There is no 9 at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 7. There is no 9 there. So this is 1 or 3 and it's not 1. So this, no, wait, this is a 3. I keep doing that. I see the 1, 3 and I go, that has to be the 1, 3, but it doesn't because the 1 at the top resolves this 1, 3 and this is something completely different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is not 6. Now that is now a 6 because of the 5, 7 pair. This is not 6. This is 3, 5, 7. Yes, that does seem to hold true, and it's not 3. So this is 5, 7. This is 3. 3 and 4 make that the 7, which looks up making that the 5, and that the 7, which looks across making that 7 and that 5. The 7 takes 7 out of there, and the 6 takes 6 out of there. That is 5. These are pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That 9 looks down, making that 8 and that 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which, to the best of my knowledge, is not completely resolved yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 do go in there. Now, that one's not 9. No, not 9, not add 8. That one's not 9. So that's a 5, 6 pair. That becomes the 9. I take 9 out of there. So 5, 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we've got the order because of that 7. So that is 8, that is 7. That makes this 6 and this 7. It makes this 5 and this 6. Now, is this also 1, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this is 1, 3, 4, and it sees 1, 3. So this is 4, and I take 4 out of those, which means I take 4 out of there. This is 1, 3. The 3 here looks up, making that 1 and that 3. This is 1. This is not 1. 3 looks up, making that 4 and that 3. There is no 5. That is 7. That is 6. The digit I am missing from there is 5, which makes this 7 and this 5. Not seeing the 8, 9 yet, but this becomes 6, which makes this 5 and this 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. This 5 makes this the 9 and this the 5. Just need to not do typos. This becomes the 8. This becomes the 9. And this becomes 4, 8. And the 8 here gives me the order 4 and 8. And that completes Dania. And as you can see, my time on that was way longer, but I had the puzzle running in the background while I was dealing with some real life stuff. So don't trust the time that's showing on the clock on my completion window. Wow, that was kind of a bit of a challenge for me, partly because of the distraction, but also because it was a lot harder than I expected. I saw this really long arrow and thought, oh, that's going to be a nice, gentle little arrow puzzle. And then it hit me in the face with a wet fish, if you like Monty Python jokes. And I do. Wow, that was a lot more challenging than I expected. Yeah, Antiknight. That was an unexpected, tricky one. Cool. I will say thank you, though at the moment I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Antiknight for the puzzle. Thank you everyone who watches. Thank you everyone who submits puzzles. And yeah, as always, good luck with your solving.